Okay, so let's have a look at working 6 for 2017 M. Mullen. A creditor who is owed 7,600 accepted office equipment with a book value of 6,500 in full settlement of the debt. The office equipment had cost 11,000. No entry was made in the books in respect to this transaction. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to have to decrease our creditors by 7,600 because they've accepted office equipment for that debt. Then we're going to have to reduce our office equipment by 11,000. We also need to calculate what is our cumulative depreciation and then calculate whether we made a profit or loss on the sale of this office equipment. So 5 steps: adjust your creditors, find the value of the office equipment for this year, that's going to go into your balance sheet as a tangible asset. Find the depreciation for this year, that's going to go into your balance sheet as part of your administration. Find the cumulative depreciation, that's going to go into your balance sheet as part of your tangible asset. And then did you make a profit or loss on the sale of the equipment? So the first thing we're going to have to do is adjust our creditors. So let's find out how much our creditors are from the trial balance. So if we look at our trial balance, our creditors are 78,000. So always make sure you're using the up-to-date figure when you do these adjustments. So we accepted office equipment of 7,600 as part of the question. So that's where we're going to reduce our creditors by, because that was in respect of the full debt. So our creditors figure that is going to be 70,400. That's going to go into your balance sheet as a current liability. Then we need to do step 2, 3, 4 and 5. So calculate the office equipment for this year for the balance sheet. Find the depreciation for this year, your profit and loss in your administration. Find the cumulative depreciation, and then do we make a profit and loss. So very much like the adjustment for our depreciation for our vehicles. So the first thing we're going to do, find out what is our opening balance for our equipment and for our cumulative depreciation. That's going to be from our trial balance. So our equipment is 25,000. So it's an asset, it's increasing asset, it goes on the debit side. Your cumulative depreciation then is a credit balance, is an asset with a credit balance. So it costs us 25,000. The value is now 15,000. So the difference between the two is 10,000. That's going to be our depreciation. Then we dispose of equipment. And that's taken straight from the question. So it was worth, how much did the office equipment cost us? So it cost us 11,000. So we're going to credit office equipment, and then we're going to debit our disposal. Now we can balance off our equipment because we don't have any more transactions to go in. So the value of our equipment is now 14,000, and that's the figure that goes into our balance sheet as a tangible asset for office equipment. The next one then is the cumulative depreciation. So of this 10,000, there is a certain percentage belonging to the equipment that we just sold. So you need to find out how much that is. So in the question, it tells us that the book value is now 6,500. Cost is 11,000, so the difference between the two will give us the cumulative depreciation on the office equipment. So 11,000 is the cost. It's now at 6,500, so the cumulative depreciation then is 4,500. Then we have to calculate what is our depreciation on our this year's depreciation goes into the profit and loss account. So it tells in the question that provide for depreciation office equipment held at the end of the year at 20%. So the office equipment at the end of the year is 14,000. We're going to multiply that by 20% because it tells in the question. So this year's depreciation is 2,800. That then goes into your profit and loss account. So the balance then for our balance sheet, the accumulated depreciation is a difference between what's on the credit side And what's on the debit side? So 3,800. That's going to be your balance. That balance then is going to go into your balance sheet as a tangible asset. Remember, the 14,000 goes into your balance sheet as a tangible asset, and this 2,800 will go into your profit and loss account. So the disposal and your creditors, you reduce them by 7,600. So that's the worth that we got from this transaction. The value of the equipment is 11,100, so we made a profit of 1,100 on selling that equipment. So remember, if the balance figure for disposal is on the debit side, it's a profit, and if it's on the credit side, it's a loss. So we kind of made money on this transaction. So that's how you answer adjustment 6 for 2017 M. Mullen.